you want to see kelele, roll up my weed, let me be kelele. As I spend my money kelele.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first episode of Pizza and Banter. I am your host, Awa, aka @Fangirl on all platforms. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, maybe or maybe not Twitter, depending on. But this is my co-host Tazi. Tazi, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Tazi. Follow me on Instagram at Call Me Tazi. You can follow me on TikTok, same TikTok handle. Twitter if you want to. I don't really be on there. It's not my age group. I don't talk too much. You feel me? But yes, this is Bitali from Banta, and I'm gonna give it back to Awa.
We are trying to establish a platform for first-gen Africans, specifically first-gen West Africans, to talk about our very unique experience. So we decided to call it Bitalif and Banter because some things we're going to talk about is not going to be sweet. It's not going to be a good time. It's going to be tough. And the Bitalif. And then, this my cousin, as Glorilla would say. So we be bantering, we be talking. That's where the banter part comes in. So, Tazi, tell the people how we know each other, how our origin story.
So how I know you was we met way back. You know what I mean? Way back before I really knew you were my cousin. I didn't really know we was gonna see each other. You were just somebody in that. You pulled up to my house and my mom was just like, my people just like, that's your cousin. I was like, oh, okay. And I guess we talked for a little bit. I can't even remember the conversation.
I feel like you were talking to my brothers because y'all were closer in age. I don't really remember us interacting them early years.
I just remember your brothers had bald heads.
Ooh, they're gonna be pissed. They're going to.
Where we really grew close was when I had just graduated high school. I just graduated high school. Your mother was working in the DMV because she was like there as a nurse up there. So for all the nurse girlies,
she was the girl to talk to.
She was really up there, and she was close to my mom. And she told my mother that your son is living a hopeless life. He's just doing this DJ thing here in this Maryland like this. He will not just send him to Colorado. We have nice schools there, blah, blah, blah. I was like,
I know you were sick.
Bro, fresh out of high school at the time. And as they say, if you want to communicate to a man, go through his wife or go through his mama or his sister, just go through the woman in his life that he really messed with. And so, your mother communicated through my mom. My mom talked to me and just thought it was a good idea. And I talked to my dad. My dad thought it was a good idea. So I was like, all right, I'll move. And that's how we kind of grew close. I stayed with our parents for maybe 2 years, something like that.
The senior year of high school was when you moved in too. So those are
Yeah. So during that time, kind of grew close. I remember
going through it.
I remember getting you your iPod and you was using text free.
Wow, really changed my life.
You was using text free. And you were calling people, change your life. You was calling people on text free with the Wi-Fi. And I literally saw how quality of life shot through the roof. And then we had that shared Apple subscription plan, shot through the roof.
Yep. Came up in there. Gave me my first phone number. Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. But yeah, we definitely, I feel like we've grown up together in a way.
Yeah, we have. We sure have.
Grown up together, we've been able to morph into adulthood with the support of each other. So
correct.
It makes sense that we would do a podcast together. Makes total sense.
Before you continue, I really have to appreciate this look you got going on.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
You look really nice.
Thank you.
Y'all know her as Awa. I know her as Mawa. That is her country name. And never be able to pronounce it.
Oh my goodness. That didn't have roots, Mawa.
That's roots. You feel me?
But thank you. The people will be seeing a lot of hairstyles, a lot of switching it up. That's yeah. Yes, that's how we know each other. So as far as this podcast goes, I guess the whole point of us doing this was to have conversations specific to being first gen West African, because we thought it's a very unique experience. Like the UK Africans, they got their own motion right now. It's very present, right? But in the US, us first gen Africans, we don't really have a presence. So when we're having conversations about Blackness, diaspora wars, who started what, who's been a part of what, we don't get included in the conversation. We make certain things cool, we bring it into the mainstream. So it's worth us having a platform so we can educate the masses about our
correct. And you know what I think? I think it's because to your point, why we don't really have a space, a voice. In my opinion, I think look at somebody who is in Southeast. A white person could look at somebody who's in Southeast and say he represents this, but somebody in Nigeria could look at somebody who's in Southeast dressed in jeans and a t-shirt and not know that person is originally from Cameroon. It's just because he lives in Southeast. And the reason why is because he got the same skin complexion as you. So it's like, we're Black, of course. We have this skin complexion, but there's so many different cultures. There's so many different types of people and ethnicities that represent this skin color. And it just so happens that the one we're speaking on, we're very rambunctious. We're very, very, what can I say? We like to disturb the place.
We like to make our presence known.
Yeah.
But we also are very content in our own little corner. We
don't, for sure.
We don't need approval. We don't really need permission to do us.
Yeah.
Find our small corner, find our people, and we're fine. And in America, as you say, like this thing about Blackness in America is very unique, because when you're Black in America, nobody's asking you where you're from. It's just an assumption.
Correct.
There's not as much emphasis on ethnicity and cultural background as you're just Black. So it's very easy, especially if you don't look conventionally African or what people think stereotypically.
Correct.
It's very easy for us to just be thrown in the pile, even amongst each other. Sometimes it's hard. I get confused all the time. People never know where I'm from. People always like, oh, you must be Caribbean, you must be Black American.
It's giving Caribbean.
That's okay with me. I'm not mad. As long as I'm Black, I'm happy. It's fine. It's okay. But yeah, so some things we're going to talk about on this podcast are very unique and specific to first gen, because we're like in the middle, where we have this very deep rooted cultures for our home countries, but we also have the Black experience in America that we're trying to, balance and trying to make fit into our own cultural needs without forgetting where we came from, but also without shunning the things that are relevant to the place we live. So that's why we're here, Bitter Leaf and Banter. And I beg you people don't be coming and saying Bitter Leaf.
It's not Bitter Leaf, please. If you, matter of fact, we know how it's spelled, but if you're in the comment section, spell it the way you hear it.
Spell it the way you hear it.
Spell it the way you hear it. You feel me? Spell it the way you hear it.
It might sound funny, but that's just how it's said. Nobody is saying Bitter Leaf, so pizza. Anyway, so why do you think, I don't know, why do you think that the first gen presence is not as heavy weighted as, for example, like the UK Africans? What's missing? What are we not doing here to make ourselves known? Especially you being from DC and you growing up amongst other Africans. Like, why are we not so much of the conversation when it comes to Blackness in the US? What do you think?
Because we're bold, because we're proud, and because we're loud and bold and proud.
That's what we're not included. Tell me more.
So for the majority of West Africans, and Africans in general, West Africans specifically, one thing you can kind of like identify us on the general level is how we commune together. So there's a particular behavior that is very, very indicative of what's African people. We're going to be proud. We do like we're going to. There's community. We know ourselves. We know each other. We know how to congregate amongst each other. We know how to behave amongst each other, and we know how to kind of like organize ourselves correctly. And when we speak amongst each other, especially outside of our group, we speak very highly of each other. For example, when a lot of people will tell you that outside of African communities will tell you that I don't like Burna Boy. He's just so into himself. Or the rest of us will just know that the Niger guy. That's just how he is. He's proud of himself. That is just how he is. He's a giant. He's all of these things. That is just how he is. We don't see him as, oh, he's doing too much. That's just how he is. But that is just West Africans for you. That is how we are. And I think a lot of times that kind of frightens people. When you talk to certain groups, it just kind of rub them the wrong way when you just feel so. It's almost like when you're a confident person and you stand in your confidence, it could kind of rub people the wrong way. Like, who does this person think he is? Like, you just rub people the wrong way. I get it. But like I say, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
I mean,
and there go the West African popping out.
So you think that we're not including the conversation is because people think we're full of ourselves a little bit? Is that what
they think we're full of ourselves a little bit? They think we're a little too proud, full of ourselves a little bit. Think because we think we're better for some reason. And for a multitude of other reasons, but I think for the most part, that's really what it is. I think low key, maybe they think maybe there's a sense of community that we may have that maybe they think, they lack and feel a little bit insecure about. Who knows? But
I mean, points were made. I think because we are okay giving ourselves validation, we get ignored in the conversation of like what makes you Black and what makes you contribute to Blackness, especially in the US, where it is something that's constantly being picked apart and spoken down on. We don't need a lot of validation in our version of Blackness. We are able to get what we need out of each other. We're very proud. We're going to take over a whole neighborhood if that's what it is.
Correct.
Bring all of our people here and spread the wealth. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a gap when it comes to conversations about being Black in America, where I feel like the Caribbeans get a little bit more acknowledgement for their contribution and their presence than Africans do. So I take this as our opportunity, especially as Africans who grew up here. Like, we went to school here. I've been here the whole time.
We contributed greatly to this space.
We contribute a lot. We have so much duality. We're able to carry our own culture, carry our own motion, but also pick up and learn about what is relevant in common Black culture that we need to also assimilate. So, put some respect on us. So that is the main reason why we think this podcast is important. We hope to dive into a lot of heavy conversations, particularly related to, the duality of having to feed into this culture, feed into our home cultures, the generational gaps, the cultural gaps, even the next generation, what that looks like. We're trying to get into some things. We're trying to get into some things. We're the new adults now, so we feel like we need to be having more serious conversations, and we go, of course, with a little sprinkle of bantering and chopping lights.
Of course.
So, what do you think is unique about the first gen Black experience in comparison to other groups of Black people, this generation? Millennials, Gen Zs, like, what's unique about this experience here?
What I like about our experience is that you can kind of like differentiate between different age groups, not necessarily generations because we're not so far apart, but different age groups, you know, and you can kind of predict what each age group is doing, and they'll be doing specifically that thing. And they don't, you know, like get it twisted. So for example, you could see an 18-year-old boy and he's like focusing on his books. But in 2 years or 3 years, he'll be in the club. But maybe he got a plug to get him into the club. He'll be like, that's grown man business right there. It's not my level. You will stay where his stuff is. Then when you get to the 21 to let's say 28, you go to the club, let's say as a young girl, you talk to a particular type of group of men and they're doing particular type of things, ordering particular type of bottles, behaving a particular type of way. You're like, all right, these men right here, they outside. They're not trying to get married. Then you talk to the, let's say 30 to 35, 38, and they doing particular type of things, and you're just like, oh, these men are trying to get married heavily. They're pressuring you to get married. Then you have what I like to refer to as the Oba. It's like 40 all the way up to like something in the club. Hey, baby, how are you?
What are you doing here? Go home.
Your father and I used to go to secondary school together. I know it's very beautiful tonight. Uncle?
Huh? They do not know how. Those ones don't know how to read the room at all.
They don't. They don't.
I used to see you as a small girl. Whoa.
I think that is also unique about our experience. And also there's also a sense of like community and respect. I believe that we believe very much so in like respecting your elders. We believe in just, you know, personally me, if I come into a space and let's just say, like I'm in my place right now, right? And let's just say it's 4 chairs and there are 4 young men sitting down and a grandmother walks into the room. I don't give a fuck. All 4 of those young men need to stand up. Stand up. Even if the grandmother says, oh, you sit down, you stand up. Even though there's only 1 chair for her to sit on. You stand up and you say, Mommy, this is your chair here. Let her say, you know what, I will stand. And if she says I will stand, you insist you must sit.
And you know what's funny? I feel like as you say this, one of the unique things about the first gen experience is that we maintain cultural norms.
Correct.
In settings that are outside of what the culture even thought would be those days. So this same, like when I go to the club, when I'm in the club with my fellow African brethren, I'm coming in my 6-inch heels. The minute they see my knees wiggling, people start getting on niggas.
You know, like,
you know,
it's common. It's just the common culture in the club is
we keep
if you got a table as a man. If you got a table as a man, and the girls come through 2 or more, if there's no space for them to sit, you stand.
Get up.
And you let the woman sit down. That's just the way it is. And life goes on. It don't make you a simp. It don't make you a pushover. It is just the way things roll in this community.
Exactly. And even though, like, you know, it's very interesting to see how we were raised and the things that we were taught, where they show up. It's very interesting, especially
correct.
Just out and about. It's very interesting. It's very unique. And personally, me as a woman, I can tell the difference of what cultural norms are present in certain spaces. And I can tell when certain norms haven't been set, even amongst women, like certain ways that women show mutual respect back for men and for elders. Like, I know which spaces that those values will show up and be understood versus which spaces that they're not really a thing. So you kind of every man for himself.
Yeah.
So now that we have given a foundation as to what this podcast is going to be about, who our target audience is, let's tell the people a little bit about ourselves here. So I'll start.
Go ahead.
And, you know, just want to share my first gen experience, because one thing is true is that in this first gen experience, there's such a range. There's some of us who only grew up in America, only went to school in America. There's some who went back to school in our native countries and came back here. There's some who have never been back to their home countries, but they're very ingrained in their culture. They speak the language, they know the tradition. There's some who have gone back and they don't even associate with their culture anymore. There's such a range. So understanding the different our stories will help guide why we think certain conversations are. So me, I was born in Colorado. I grew up in Colorado, but I lived in Cameroon with my older siblings for 3 years. They lived there for 10 years. I came in the last 3 years. Lived with my grandmother, was raised. My parents dropped me off, just left me there, came back. It's like a thing. This is
so you were born in the United States and when you was a baby.
In the bed, fresh out.
They dropped your ass off.
They sure did.
Your father is strong.
So learning to speak English, being potty trained, walking, all those big milestones, all of mine happened in Cameroon. Yeah. So I remember coming and like starting preschool and just kind of being like, what's going on? All these different type of kids. I didn't even really know my parents like that. Like I was like, this is a huge change of environment. But I mean, yeah, from then I never went back to Cameroon since. And I went to elementary school here. Elementary school, I was mostly around other like white kids. So, you know, certain things like how I dressed and my hair, I was getting made fun of, like regular kids made fun of, nothing specific. Like I was one of the few black kids, you know. Me and my brother, we were the few black kids, so we were more so made fun of because we were black, not specifically because we were African, you know what I mean? But then going to high school, that's when I was like, oh, there are different ways that black people show up, black children show up. And yeah, you know, I used to wear my cultural styles in my hair that my mother would do. She was so proud of them. And our girl was going to be like, what's up in your hair? Oh, man. Those hairstyles used to be so painful. But I mean, it made my hair long. And I knew that my mother, like, she was so proud.
I was about to say, it made your hair long?
It sure did. What? Them hairstyles made my hair long. But I was like, I'd rather be bald headed than get bullied. I don't care. And I had to, once I told my mom, I'm gonna need you to stop doing my hair because I keep getting made fun of. I'm gonna need you to let it go, leave me alone. And she didn't know how to do anything else besides my broad thread. All she knew how to do.
That's all she knew. She was trying
her
best.
Hurt. She was so hurt when I told her I didn't want it no more. But I was like, girl, I'm getting bullied. I gotta pick my battles. I would rather disappoint you than have to go get made fun of for 8 hours a day. Like, yeah. And she didn't get it. Like, she just thought I was ungrateful. And I was like, well, I guess we'll just agree to disagree. But yeah, when I went to high school.
Come on, mama.
You know, like that was one of the biggest challenges, like dealing with my parents and dealing with the outside world, because the outside world, you know, it was all types of African booty scratchers, all types of, you grew up with lions, y'all grew up in huts. It was all types of, my goodness. They used to tear us up. Y'all stink, all types. And I was like, I'm going to do what I need to do so that I can get through my day peacefully. Okay. Like, I understand when I come home, you think I'm being disrespectful. Everything I'm doing is disrespectful. But like, it's a whole other world out there that I have to deal with more than I have to deal with y'all at home. So
y'all don't even understand.
You know, I would literally get dressed, put my sweatpants over and my hoodie over my office, walk to school just so my parents wouldn't see how I was going to school, because they just didn't.
I remember this.
You know what I'm saying?
They just didn't get it.
They didn't get it. And when I was in high school, like I mostly hung out with the other, I guess like more so African American kids. Like I hung out with the Africans too, but the Africans was getting bullied too. I was like, damn.
Yeah, they were.
I was like, damn.
They were.
You know, so I definitely latched on to my African American homegirls, and I just loved how they expressed themselves. I just loved how bold they were in their hair, their nails. Like, I was like, that just feels more like me. That just feels like how I want to present myself. So African-American girlies is who raised me, who, you know what I'm saying, who gave me that extra sauce. Also going to DC, I was really going back and forth to DC, like top of high school. I think the first time I really went and really saw with my own two eyes, I was like 14. I was like, wow, the kids got a social life. I was shocked.
They got a social life. It's culture out here.
I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like,
culture out here.
I am missing out. Like y'all had a whole ecosystem out there of like Africans who were identifying and congregating as Africans. It was so, as kids, I was so impressed.
Yeah.
I was so impressed. But yeah, like the hardest part was just dealing with my parents. And, you know, like I would get in trouble a lot as a kid, but it wasn't because I was doing anything wrong, but it was just because they wanted me to present myself in the way they thought was like respectful to them and respectful for my age, as if I was still in Cameroon. And I was just like, we just gonna have to fight. We just gonna have to beef, because if I obey y'all, it leads me to getting tore up when I go outside. I would rather assimilate to outside, because that's majority of where my time is being spent. And two, the more I get cool with the people outside, the more opportunities and the more things are opening up for me. Like if I had just listened to my parents and presented myself how they, mind you, my parents are old school Africans, okay? My parents, my father is no nonsense. It was up to, I remember I cut my hair in high school. He was over the moon. He said, now you can focus on your books. I was like,
really?
What? When I cut my hair, my father was, okay, now you look like my doctor.
Now you can focus on your books.
Now you can focus on your books. I was like, you my biggest hater for real. But that's my first gen story. Like I feel like I really didn't get into mingling regularly around Africans until I graduated from college, which is crazy. But yeah, like I went to a small PWI, mostly white kids. And then after college is when I was thrown into the world of first gen Africans. And I was like, oh my God, where have y'all been? Like the perfect happy medium of still expressing and being proud of where you come from, but you know, creating a new wave, because it's a different time, it's a different world. We can't do what our parents did, but at the same time, there's certain things about being Black in America that's like, I got to try, I got to see for myself, I got to participate, I would like to see. So the First Gen Africans, a very sweet spot. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm so happy I would have been Black anywhere, but I think that I could be, you know?
Yeah. So
that's my story. Your turn. Tell the people. Where have you been? Where have you come from?
You know. They call me Mr. Tazi. They call me Tazi, international traveler. The guy who has been from place to place. He has seen so many things. He has just congregated among the people.
Gallivanting, congregating,
gallivanting around the town. On a serious note, so my paternal grandfather passed away in 2006, and I don't know what came over my father, but he and my mother decided that, hey, you know, I think it would be smart for me to go to Cameroon to go to study in the illustrious Our Lady of Wisdom College.
Illustrious.
That I attended for about 4 or 5 years. You have to add illustrious. You have to sprinkle the respect. The illustrious, you know. It wasn't an easy decision. My mother did not want me to go. You know, she loved her baby, you know. But I was one of them African sons that was bad as hell. It was like, send his ass back.
We was all bad.
Send his ass back. Put his ass on a plane, send his ass back. You know? And I will say that it was probably the best years of my life, man. Like, I experienced, what we refer to in the United States as manhood training, work ethic, values. I actually found God in that country, like I grew up, Catholic, but you know how you go to church, but you don't really know why you're going to church. You just go to church after the ritual. When I was in school, in the morning, you lead prayer as you're waking up in the morning, or you will sing the hymn to lead the prayer. Then you go to church. And you go to class. There was religion was sewed into the fabric of the school that I went to. You know, it was a Catholic institution, and so they kind of, even if you're just going to church out of just going sake, there's certain things you just can't avoid, whereby like they're teaching you things about God and religion, and you kind of have to start asking yourself serious questions when it comes to like faith. And that is how, my closeness to God, came into play. I grew close to my mom during that time too. My dad, he really gave me what we call iron hand diplomacy, as they call African politics, which is more so like he was just being a dad, which was he'll step in when it's time to step in, but for the most part, figure that shit out, little nigga. For the most part, figure that shit out, little nigga. That nigga left me to die, bro.
To die, Lord.
He left me to die. He left me to die. I'll call him and be like, I'll call you back. And I'm like, in the next 2 weeks, but the school I was in was really big on focusing on your books, your studies, manual labor, focusing on God, and very, very little outside distractions as much as possible. So to get on the phone was a luxury. So my mother kind of devised ways on how to befriend certain teachers for them to lend me their phones so I could call them. And I would say like two significant events that I remember in Cameroon was my first birthday that my uncle visited me. Uncle, he was a hustler. So he loved living in Douala. And he traveled from the village to come and visit me. And it was significant to me because not only did he come and visit me, he baked the cake. And, baking the cake during that time, we're talking about this 2007, 2008. That's a big deal. Take into consideration that there ain't no refrigerators to refrigerate your food. You're covering food over so many miles. He chatted with me for a little bit and he gave me 20,000 francs and said, be strong, you're a man. Grandmother was the second story, My grandmother at the time, she was living in a very far away village. It is my mother's village in Fontaine, a village. Cars don't really go to her village and there's really no electricity there. So you can use a car up until a certain point and then you have to walk. I remember walking from school to my grandmother's village to go and see her at some points. But because I was used to it, it wasn't really shit to me. But my grandmother had, 2 shattered knees at that point, and she had to come back to the United. She was supposed to go to the United States like 3 months later to get her knees replaced. She had pounded like and made bekang for me. Time like I was an American student. I didn't have any friends for real, so my grandmother to come and visit me in school was like a really, really, really big thing. And these are things that really made like a big impact on today. And just living in Cameroon, and I had to, I didn't really like relying on money from my parents. So I had my little hustle where I would get phones in the United States that were broken, fix them in the US during the summer, bring them back to Cameroon, sell them in this market they call Marché Dubai. And those experiences kind of molded me into who I am today, along with many other experiences. I came back to the United States and I had what we call a culture shock. I had to kind of be reacclimated into American culture. At the time I was in Cameroon, DJ Arafat was popping. DJ Arafat and Coupe de Calais was really, really popping. It still is popping now. Arafat was really, really popping. And the style was the type of pants, the more stylish you were. And the shirt, the more stylish you were. And that was the culture in Cameroon. So, I came back with these super tight pants and these super tight shirts and everything was just super tight. And I remember going to school one day and I had these shoes on, these real colorful shoes on, tight uniform pants. And they would clown me. Oh, oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh,
on your head.
Looking back at it, them uniform pants was like leggings. Man, there was.
But it's crazy. Like, what's cool in one space is not cool in another.
It's not cool in the other space. To the point where even one of my high school teachers asked me, like, am I an alternative lifestyle? I was like, excuse me?
Oh.
And he was asking me really, like, out of, like, care. He was like, are you a bully, bro? Like, I want to know. You know? So just like.
That is hilarious.
My sister was the one who had to kind of, like, reacclimate me to American culture. Kind of let me know, okay, the way you're acting right now is very creepy. Do not talk to women like this. This is creepy.
Get it together.
Stop doing this shit. It's really, really weird. You know, those shoes, too colorful. Stop wearing it. Them pants, too tight. Stop wearing it. You know, that shirt, you got a big belly. Stop wearing it. You know, like, it was a very, very, so to my sister, I thank you so much. You pulled me away from Fob life. Made me snap back to reality.
Absolutely. But I feel like, you know, as first gen kids, we're constantly having to, like, we have so many layers of code switching. Like, you got to code switch back into your culture. You got to code switch into Black culture in America. You got to code switch to, you know, white spaces sometimes. Like, we are true chameleons because we are always having to adjust how we show up to just blend in.
And you know why? I think that's why we're so great, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Because imagine if I could fit into any space, nigga, I'm amazing. I'm great.
I'm unstoppable. I'm unstoppable. Because if I could fit into any space, then you don't even know what bias to use against me because you don't even know where I'm from. You know I'm Black, and that already comes with its things, but you don't really, like, especially amongst Black people, I'm like, you could throw me in any Black space, anywhere, any place, anytime, and I will blend in. I will blend in. I will. That's what makes us great. Like, we are able to be in unfamiliar spaces and know how to just get with the vibe, get with the time. Like, yeah. Okay. On that note, we're going to talk about our favorite Incognito Africans. For some of these Africans, we are African. Some of them, the people may not know that they are African. So first on the list, Jackie Aina. We know Jackie Aina.
Jackie Aina now.
Aina, okay. And she, you know, the thing Jackie Aina, and the thing about being first gen in general is sometimes Jackie Aina be getting in trouble. She gets in trouble when she misrepresents parts of Nigerian culture. Because I think sometimes people think like she's not Nigerian enough to be able to express certain things or represent certain things. But I hate that. I really do hate that because I'm like, first of all, certain things wouldn't be brought to the forefront unless someone like Jackie Aina is the one to make it mainstream. So don't be upset with her if she misses the mark. Number one, she probably didn't grow up in those things. She's also learning a little bit late. She's just trying to express pride for her culture.
I think people give her too much shit, bro. Like, bro, like, come on now, like the girl try, man.
She tried, like, dang. And it's like, you know that she did not grow up a certain way. She doesn't have all of the context. She's not here to be disrespectful. She's gonna miss the mark. It's okay. Too. Okay, anyway, moving on. Next one. Our favorite cousin, Joel Embiid. He's not first gen though, is he? He's not. He grew up. Did he grow up in France?
Look, when it comes to Embiid,
I already has how eternal beef with Embiid, and he knows it too.
Joel, look at me, Joel.
He already be beefing with him.
Joel, why are you on that team, Joel?
I mean, he can't go play for the other oppressor. He can't.
Then you stay out. At least the
oppressor that pays his bills. It makes
you sort of cash. Well, here's the thing. I would accept that. Who did he marry? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
This is above me because
Me, I will speak. I will talk.
I don't expect anything different. He has seen.
Listen. Let's stop talking. Let's stop this nonsense. Look at.
I'm not saying I agree. I'm just
Look
saying
at people
I don't expect much.
Davido has seen money, 80 billion for the account. Who is Davido married to? Who is Davido married to? Who is he married to?
Chioma.
Okay. Does he have more money than? He does not. He does not. Okay. Look at my glasses. You see, as you see Burna Boy like that, making him say more pum pum than Jada Kingdom, all of that nonsense he's saying. He could also marry a Niger girl. Marry a Niger babe. That's it. So Joel Embiid, I'm looking at you like this.
Okay.
I'm looking like this. No, you're not well.
It's okay.
Saying that you play for the team because you want to represent your son. Get out of here. Get out of here.
That man. But okay, moving on. The next one, Yvonne Orji. She was also in Insecure.
Yes, Yvonne Orji. She first gen.
Right?
Yeah. She first gen.
She be getting in trouble. She get in trouble too. I'll be like,
what happened?
Same. I call it first gen syndrome, where it's like you still want to connect with your culture because you grew up in it. She goes back and forth to Nigeria with her parents all the time. Like she's not new to this. Like she's familiar with her culture, but you know, first gen, people from your country will never fully give you a pass. Like they'll every little thing you do, they'll part. So
yeah.
She gets the same kind of flack Jackie Aina, but I'm like, they're not trying to be disrespectful. They just missed the mark. Like it happens. It's okay. But anyway, moving on. Jimon Honsu. He was in Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond, Fast and the Furious 6.
Is he first gen or is he just hit?
He's hit.
He's hit, but he's not first gen.
He's hit.
Yeah.
He's hit. Mary Kimura gave us some babies.
Gave us some babies. The babies is beautiful.
Damn. The
babies is beautiful. Okay. Next one. Oh, Michael Blackson.
First gen. That nigga from Philly. That man like from Philly.
Oh, I'm telling you, Michael Blackson is the root diaspora wars.
Yeah, he's the root.
He's the roots because
he's the root.
He just something about him is just offensive to everybody.
Exactly.
It's just offensive to everybody.
He's the root.
He's the root of the diaspora. I can't put my finger on
100%.
it, but there's something about him that I'm like,
I don't like you.
It's giving tap dance. I can't put my finger on it. Sir. Anyway, next one. Akon.
First gen. That nigga sold cocaine in prison for it. In the United States. Part of the Quincy Industrial Complex. Yes.
Yes. And Akon was like, when I was growing up, Akon was one of the few Africans that was like mainstream and wasn't bullied and like talked about in the way that Africans are.
Exactly. When you ask him who you were, even back then, he could have passed off. He could have passed and said, I'm from New York.
Yeah, right. But we knew.
But he would be like, oh.
From New York. Yeah.
I'm Senegalese. I came to New York and I was like, oh, okay. I
had no more questions after that.
You know, I can respect it.
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody wanna see us together.
But it don't matter.
Cause I got you.
Wow, what a good time. What a good era. Okay, next up, Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah's not first gen.
He hip. He's just not first.
He hip. And I think it's also confusing for him because he's mixed.
I like his little light-skinned brown afro. I like it, you know what I mean? But
it's cute. He's cute.
Trevor, if you see this, it's no new. You know what I'm saying?
Hip though. You hip.
You hip.
You hip, but you're not first gen. Okay, next one, Davido.
First gen.
Which is so funny.
I have a fucking funny Davido story. I was in an Uber in Denver, Colorado, plugged my Uber up to the Apple CarPlay, and it was playing. The first thing that came on was "See Go Big," and he was just, no, it was Dami Duro, and he was just like,
oh,
I was like, don't do that, baby.
David?
Don't say David like you know that
That name
nigga.
David, like you know him for
I didn't
real.
even know his name was David. I did not know his name was David. When she said
Davy
David,
Joe.
I have to compute. It was Davido. I was like, huh?
David is crazy in
She was
Colorado.
like, I know David. We went to school in Atlanta together. I was like, don't do that. He is from Nigeria. You're lying. She was like, Google. He actually was born in Atlanta.
Crazy.
I was like, and I Googled, I was like, I didn't know Davido was born in Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm. So
No,
yeah, Davido story.
yeah, that's a good story. David is crazy though. If it don't matter if he went to high school with that man, put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on his name. Tell a
Like
kid
what?
30 billion.
For the account you.
You
Okay,
understand?
next one, John Boyega. John Boyega acts like an African.
That nigga African, bro.
He
That nigga
acts like an
African, Star
African.
Wars ass nigga.
Every time he play African, I'm like, well casted.
Well casted now.
Well
What do you
casted.
mean well casted?
Well casted. He just gets
Look, he's African, but he's African?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's Nigerian.
Oh, God, them niggas.
Okay, the next one. We know this one. Olebuwale. We know this one.
No, come on now. Come on now. In my backyard.
Hey, yo, that's he's from your country, DC.
You know what I mean? In my backyard,
He's
he
from
in the
your
DMV. I saw him a couple days ago now.
That is very DC. Where the fuck did you see him?
I'm not going to say the hotel, but I was in a hotel lobby. I fell asleep in the lobby.
As you do. Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep, woke up, missed my first Uber, woke up again, missed my second one, woke up again, missed my third. And then on the fourth one, I hear like a flip-flop sound. I'm like, yo, who flip-flops? Heavy as shit is walking from the elevator towards my direction. And I opened my eyes, and he had the new Pradas on that I had just bought. You know, that I had just bought. And I was like, oh, fly ass nigga, but he's a sneakerhead, you know? So the first thing I noticed was, number one, this man's dress is really like, well, presentable. Like, his second thing was, this nigga is vertically challenged. Really like, well, they don't lie to you, I'm just saying, this is what I noticed, you know? The third thing, he looked at me, I looked at him, we made eye contact, I looked at his shoes, he looked at my fit, he was just like, nice fit. I was like, nice shoes. My man took his food, went about his day back up to his room.
That's why I like Wale. He minds his business.
He minds his business. But the look he gave me when he first saw me was that look where he was just like, don't do no fan shit right now, nigga. I'm trying to
not too much. Not too much.
Because he had his phone in his hand. It looked like he was on FaceTime. Mm-hmm. And I was, not too much, nigga. Don't do too much right now. Like, I'm chilling right now. That type of look.
Very much Wale. That's the vibe Wale gives. Wale is just a perpetual not too much. Like
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Even though he do a little too much every once in a while.
Relax. It's okay. It's okay.
Next.
Next one. This is my favorite on the list. Tyler, the Creator. Creator Incognito African.
Incognito
African. And I like the Tyler, the Creators of the first gen community. One of those niche Africans. Like you need an African on a skateboard. You need a rapper. You need one. Don't care. Don't want to be a doctor. Don't want to be a lawyer. Don't want to be a teacher. Is going to live his life.
That nigga, all he want to do is piss off a cliff.
You need those.
These niggas want to piss off a cliff, bro.
I love those sprinkled amongst the first gen because they've been able to live their full existence in their native country. They need this to be somewhere, the land of the free and the home of the brave. So
I feel you. You love them niggas? I hate them niggas.
I got one of them.
I look at me like, you're just rejecting your whole culture.
You need those. You need those because it really makes the family look at their decisions and be like,
that's true. I never thought of it that way. It's so true.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Maxo Cream. That's fun. And Incognito.
You would think, bro, I seen a nigga bust down chain scar on his face. I said, God damn, nigga.
We need to. I would love to see him in his.
I would love to see him off the camera. That nigga probably humble as shit. Well, Mama, how are you? Well, Mama, I bought this thing for you. Go and visit your auntie there. Well, auntie,
Well, auntie.
Straight up. You'll be
I like that.
surprised.
I like that. I like that. I
You
like that. I
got
like
to.
that. And then to end, we know Jadena. Jadena doesn't let us view
Pretty boy now. Pretty boy, Mr. Sexy.
Mr. Sexy Jadena. We know
You know what I'm saying? Hair
Yeah.
fried, laid to the side.
Exactly. So that is our list. We had a few others, but those like the highlight ones that
For sure.
But just to show again, like we are everywhere. Africans are everywhere. We are very
everywhere.
much
a lot of times, the people that you even support that you may not even know they're African. They're African descent. So.
Yeah, they be African. You know low key. And like this first gen conversation in America is also particularly unique because majority of the descendants of slaves were West African. So it don't get closer than that. We cousins. A lot of us first gen, particularly first gen West Africans, the Black Americans who were born and raised, whose generations come from this land, your previous generations come from the same countries we come from. So we are related in some way. We cousins. So that kind of ends the first episode as far as laying the foundation of what is to come. We hope that you guys participate in the comment section. Like, let us know what topics you think are important to first gen, what topics you think you guys want us to cover. Remember to subscribe, share, tell your friends to watch our shows. We will be dropping episodes at the same time. I think it's Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. And we're trying to get the ball rolling, but it makes it easier if you guys are, providing suggestions for what you want to hear from us, if you guys are engaging in the conversation. That leads into what our next episode will be about. We are getting into the nitty-gritty. The
nitty-gritty. And what's the nitty-gritty?
African versus African American divide, because there is a divide.
Is there a divide? Let us know in the comment section. Is there a divide?
You tell us exactly. You tell us.
Is there a divide?
And why do you think there's a divide?
Who started our armpits think? Are we smelly? Are we African?
Tell us in the comments what you think.
The world wants to know. The world wants to know.
And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna make sure to come with facts though, because this conversation is very layered. I assume that this won't be a one episode thing. I assume that it will have multiple episodes because we'll be kind of breaking it down, but we gotta talk about it. I'm tired of tiptoeing. I'm tired of walking on eggshells. Let's talk about it. Like,
Madam, you're an African woman. You're a Cameroonian. There's nothing like tiptoeing.
I love all my Black people.
Exactly, but are they God?
But at the same time, some of the things I'm hearing, it's not making sense. So that'll be the episode. But thank you all for joining us for this first one, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
You want to see Kelele? Roll up my weed, let me be Kelele. As I spend my money, Kelele.